Foster. I'm really excited about this. My name is Jessica Golle. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here at Charles IT. And this is just a really exciting topic. AI is certainly everywhere right now, in every headline, every boardroom conversation, every vendor pitch. But today we wanted to do something a little bit different, shift some gears, and get away from the buzz of AI and focus on the practical application. Talk about some real use cases, create value, solve problems, maybe improve our decision making, all those types of things that would actually be practical in our application. So I'm super excited for today's conversation with Foster Charles, who's a CEO of Charles IT. He's certainly a personal adopter of AI and someone who actively is implementing it across our organization. So I think he brings a practical leadership perspective on what it really looks like to move, I think, behind the hype, the theory, experimentation, and move into application, the way that AI would drive business and a meaningful impact. So welcome, Foster. Excited about this.
Thank you. Thanks, Jess. I'm looking forward to it as well. For me, today is going to be like a working session for everybody and not a sales pitch. So I
Mhm.
just want people leaving here knowing what exactly you can do with AI. I'm going to be focusing a lot on Copilot, but this will be transferable to Claude or ChatGPT and how to use it safely and actual ways that I use it personally. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think whether you're AI curious or you're actively experimenting or you've already embedded this in your organization in workflows, the goal of the session really is to move beyond that theory and see what's actually working for Foster. And then that's why I'm not going to be talking so much because it's not going to be sales. It's going to be all CEO led practical application.
Sounds great. So, for me, what I'm going to do is this is today's basic flow of what we're going to go through. I'm a quick talker, I'm technical, and I want to show you the overview of all the items that we have, and I'm trying to save as much time as possible for questions and answers. Most people just want to know, how would you do this, or how can I do that? And so I'm going to show you things that I'm using day to day, a quick map of all of those, and then we'll kind of go right to questions. So the quick run through is why we're here, the use case, Copilot. Again, I'm going to be focusing on that. Prompting 101, it's the most common thing that I see needs for people to be able to go and fix. And then I have everyday use cases where you'll see me using in Word, Excel, Teams, so on and so forth. And then making Copilot yours, which is where a lot of the magic is. And then we'll go right into a bunch of those questions. There is a question and answer section, so please, as things come up through the presentation, load them up in there, and then we'll start answering them, and I'll go through it line by line. So first thing I want to go through for everybody is AI usage. We're focused in highly compliant and highly regulated industries, so I got to make sure I include this component. Where do you actually use and don't use things? Anything that you're loading into AI agents are usually trained for the model. This is why most people pay for a version of it. So there's sensitive and non-sensitive data, and you'll see me show you how to prompt and do when you're using sensitive and non-sensitive information. But this is where you can use certain items in and out depending on the use case. So in Copilot, there's work mode and there is web mode, and work mode keeps it everything intent and inside. So this is where we're going to be running through a lot. So why I use Microsoft Copilot, or you use paid version. So this is also applicable to ChatGPT or Claude. When you're using the paid versions, you can say, hey, I don't want this to be used for training AI models. And why we do that is I want everything to run in our Microsoft 365 tenant or our ChatGPT tenant. So nothing gets trained, nothing goes out, no secrets go out to somebody else. So you can use PII, you can use HIPAA information, you can use company secrets, whatever that may be. And then it's protected by the company security as well. So you have the same access controls, it's auditing, it has data loss prevention, it stops people from doing silly things. This is why I particularly lean into Copilot versus the other agents. And it's not used to train public models, which I mentioned before, and the enterprise security that Microsoft has. So Microsoft is the #1 technology provider in the world, and they have the largest amount of people defending that security. So they're constantly working on privacy and pushing that forward faster than anybody else. So quick, why are we here? Why we're here is related to my wife. It is the same level, 101 level class that I wanted to do that I was showing my wife what to do because she uses Copilot or ChatGPT like a search engine, and she'll say, hey, give me a meal plan that's high in protein and has 1,800 calories for the day. And maybe she adds like, and I like Mexican food, add that in. Or my favorite is tell me a bedtime story for my twin boys. My goal here is to amp up. That's how most people are using it. I want to amp up how people are using this day in and day out. I want to make sure that people are using it and in a more advanced way. So take the bedtime story. I say, my wife says, tell me a bedtime story for my twin boys. Great prompting and great usage is tell me a bedtime story for my twin 6-year-old boys. They're named Parker and Wesley. I want it to be about 1,000 words. I want to include characters from Bluey, because they love Bluey, and add themes of honesty and integrity and weave that into the story, right? This is how I use it in real use every day. I actually stole that prompt exactly from 2 nights ago of exactly what I used for my kids because I had them ask like, hey, what characters do you want to add in? And it creates a beautiful, well-written story when I'm shot at the end of the day, can't remember it. So I'm trying to amp up what everybody's currently using it for.
So it's the prompt, really.
Yes, absolutely. Prompting is critical for everything. And I will be going through prompting 101 on how to make sure that you amp up that prompt and give you a little couple cheats, couple pro tips that I use. So we'll definitely be using a lot of prompting. So Copilot, I want to go and demystify the tool itself. So at high level, you're going to see me hop between screens. I'm going to show you live working through this. But the thing I want to make sure you know, specifically working with Copilot, is Copilot lives in 2 places. And I'll myth bust a couple key things. Is first, there's work mode and web mode. And you'll see at the top, I'll show you in just a second what that looks like. What I want you to know is work mode uses, that's the version inside Outlook and Excel and Teams. It's available at copilot.microsoft.com or chat.microsoft.com. And when you sign in with your work email account, it can see your email, it can see your files, your calendar, your meetings, the meeting transcripts that you might have recorded with Copilot. That's where the real productivity wins happen. And this is the only mode that it's approved for that sensitive information. When you go to work mode, it's keeping it all secure. And then there's web mode, which people are probably more familiar with on ChatGPT, is it's the same Copilot interface, but it's pointed at the public internet, and it doesn't see your work data, and it's good for general research and brainstorming. The myth I want to break is that everybody's like, ooh, Copilot sucks. It doesn't work as well. I like ChatGPT because it comes up with a lot more information, or Claude because it sounds more natural. Spoiler alert, you can pick if you wanted to use ChatGPT or Claude. Most people are using it in work mode, and it's set up that do not hallucinate, only use the work content, only use cited resources. So it's not as nearly as generic and free flowing. But when you go into web mode, you're going to get a lot more of that kind of experience, and it will feel a lot more natural to you. So
So is that where you have to really say, wait, that's not true and check the verification?
yes, absolutely. And that is exactly what happens all the time. People find something that isn't true and they want to do it. Copilot is designed not to do it. The downside is people don't feel like it's nearly as powerful. So let me show you some of Copilot. So this is Copilot. If you, on your computer, you want Microsoft 365 Copilot, again, you can find this on copilot.microsoft.com. There's a bunch of different ways to get to it. A lot of things bring you back to this looking interface. So if you find it and discover it in Teams or in Outlook, you can click a button and it will come back to here. You're going to see this interface generally a lot. So let me walk you through it. Remember that work and web sections. This is how you flop back and forth between the two. So when I use the work version or web version, I can just select them between it. You're going to have more of a ChatGPT kind of feel into the web version. Work is going to have access to all your emails and files. The other thing I want to bring to everybody's attention is over here, we're auto. So this is, hey, I want a quick response or deeper response. And it's automatically going to pick between different depending on what you ask, the different agents and things it has available. It has Opus, which and OpenAI's GPT. And I can say I want the exact chat GPT quick response or the think deeper for the people that use that. But I can preference like I actually want this. So this is where people are like, oh well, it's Copilot. No, it's actually using these other things. It's just constrained to the work environment that it has now. But if you like how Claude works or you like how GPT works, you can select the model that you'd like it to be able to see. I lean towards ChatGPT and I like to think deeper. Sometimes I use Claude for Excel. It's personal preference on what you have. If you don't know the variations, just let it sit to auto. Over here, I can start new chats, temporary chats. Sometimes I don't want things in my history because I'm asking it a silly question that I'm never going to use again. What are the 5 main characters of Bluey from my kids' TV show? Those are things I'm never going to use that again. I don't want that in my chat history. So this is the interface. From here, I can just start asking it a random question, and then I can add resources to it. So this plus here allows me to add content and resources. So if I want to add a file, like work content, I can say add somebody in as context. I can say add certain as people. I can add certain meetings as my context because I only want to give it that context. So that's where I can add that context. You can also voice dictate to it or do a voice chat where you start having a conversation with it. On the left here is all of your history for the chats, and you have agents. If you build one, we'll go into some of those agents that we'll be talking about before. And again, you can find this in a bunch of different ways, but you're going to consistently be brought back to this interface. So with that, I'm going to hop back over to our slide here. What I want to go through is prompting. So prompting, this is again 101 level class. The biggest thing I can see to improve for people's use of AI is the quality of the prompt. So most people, again, disappointed results from Copilot because they type it into it like it's a Google search. If you give a 2-word prompt, you get 2 words of value. So our framework quickly that we're going to use today is at the bottom of the screen there, which is goal, context, source, and your expectation. Goal, context, source, expectation. So my goal, what do you actually want from it? Draft me an email. Summarize this meeting. Build a list of X, Y, and Z. And you just state it plainly. Whatever the heck is on your mind, type it in. This is natural language. You don't have to be very specific. You don't need to use context. If you're like me, you can't spell to save your life. It picks up and fixes all of that kind of fun. But that's the goal. I'm writing all that in naturally. So hey, draft an
And
email.
what do you think for those typing individuals that are a little bit confined? Is the prompt to use audio a lot quicker? Have you been using that?
I use something called Whisper Flow which is an application that you can download, and I find that it has a quick key on the keyboard. If I hold down like the Windows button and Control, and I can live dictate to it, I find it better than any other voice that I use now. You can use Copilot directly, so sometimes I'm on a walk and I'm thinking about something, and I'm like, hey, I need to organize my thoughts. I'll turn on the voice thing, I'll have my AirPods in, and I'll start having a conversation like, hey, I want you to listen to this garbled mess and help me organize my thoughts and put this into a 1-page email that I'm going to send to my leadership team for, I don't know, our AI plans for the future or something. So I use the voice when I can't type or stare at the screen. I want it to play back to me. I'm using another application called Whisper Flow that just allows me to dictate very quickly. And I use that across every application, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, because I can talk a lot faster than I can type. So again, we're the prompting goal, context, source, and expectation. So goal, a draft email. Context, who's the audience? What's the situation? What's the tone? Is it for my leadership team? It is be concise and professional. This is about a client that feels like they were double billed for something. Give it as much context as you can. The other form of context, this is a pro tip that I I suggest all the time is the pro tip is tell it who you want it to pretend to be. Give it a persona. So I want you to act as a business attorney and review the T's and C's of this agreement that I'm about to do. Or your role as a corporate events planner, and I need a team building activity for my entire team. Please give me 5 examples that we can drive to that's in 30 minutes of Middletown and give me a summary for the day and draft an invite, right? Very complex things. And then source is the next thing. Point it to the data that you'd like it to use. Say, use this attached spreadsheet. Pull the context from my emails with Jane from the past week. Pull it from the Tuesday's leadership meeting. This is where the work mode really shines because it has context. I pull all my chats that I've done in the past 30 days, all my sent emails in the past 20 days, all my flagged emails right now. I can give it the source and tell it where it is. And the last is expectation. What are you expecting out of this thing? So what does done look like? What's the length, the format, sections? I want 3 bullets. I want it to be under 200 words. I'd like to see this as a table. I want this in a Word document. I was in a ready to copy and paste email, whatever it may be. So out of this whole thing, I want you to amp up the prompting as detailed and as specific as possible. So common thing I see is like, help me prepare for my next meeting. It's okay. Is it? Or I could say, using my calendar invite and recent emails with the attendees of my next meeting, pull any related file or chat and give me an executive prep for this meeting. And I'd like to see what the objective of the meeting is, discussion points, open risks, decisions I need to make, and give me 5 smart questions I should ask during this meeting. That's a lot more powerful, right? Instead of just prepping for that one. So next for me, after you have that and you've nailed a lot of that, one last thing, pro tip for the prompting. One of my favorite things that I do is that at the end of a lot of my prompts, especially when I'm kind of like my first run at it, I say, before you begin, repeat back to me your understanding so I know I have the right approach. And so it will take all the context and all the stuff that you have and all of a sudden start adding this context and say, this is what I understand, this is what you want, this is how I'm going to give it to you. And you'll be like, yes, perfect, we're on the same page, continue, or you can tweak and go from there. So especially when I don't exactly know what I'm looking for, but I'm kind of like just typing because I'm trying to get to a goal, I can make sure it's on the same page of exactly what I'm trying to accomplish. So got that pro tip there. So you're going to see me jump around for a couple of these. These are the everyday use cases. Where am I using it? So I'm going to give you a quick tour of a couple of different tools. Forgive me, you're going to see me in my natural habitat here. I copied and pasted a couple of the prompts, so you don't see me awkwardly typing here. But you're going to see real use cases and how I'm using it each and every day. So forgive me as you'll see the screen jump around a little bit, but I'm going to go to a couple of different applications here. So first and foremost, I will going to use, let's go for email. So welcome to my email. This is random email that I have open. I just scroll to a random section here. And what you're looking for is this paid Copilot button. This button up here is the Copilot. So I got a credit from Amazon apparently. And what I can do is I can click on this button and it gives you a couple prompts like summarize and reply to this email or the main takeaways. Summarizing is a very common thing. You get those like crazy long threads and you don't want to see them, or I don't want to read it all. It will give you that context. So when I clicked on this, you can see that immediately what it's done is I didn't use one of the pre-built prompts. I'm like, hey, I just want to see this, but it added this. And what it is that when I click this plus and I add a work content, it's the content it's working from. So when I say summarize this email message, this is the email message it's about to summarize. I can add 5 other messages, I can remove something, but this is the context in which it's going. Now, I don't care about this Amazon credit, but what I'm more interested in is finding a there's something I might want to know specifically from my email or data that might be into it. So the power of a lot of these things is, I call it a time machine. How do I get my time back? How do I get information that I wouldn't normally spend the time to go and hunt from? So in here, again, just kind of pre-wrote something. Who are all the people that emailed in today, letting us know they would be on PTO or sick or coming in late? It's a context that's in my email somewhere, and I would want to know about it. And so I just click enter, and maybe I'm concerned that people keep calling out late, or there's context here, or I just want to know how many people are working through. But you see it processed through everything you have. Now, a lot of times I'm just running and doing something else, but and I come back and I have this context here. While we wait for it, you see it searching and thinking it through. The thing I want to drive to your attention on here is what we call co-work. So see down here where it says allow actions, there's two modes to Copilot. There is default mode and allow actions, where it can take actions on my behalf. It can interact with my email. It can draft a response. It can mark things as flags. It can move things to a folder. Whatever you ask it to do, it can actually interface with it. Claude calls this co-work, Copilot. Guess what they call it? Co-work. And it is the same kind of interface that you'll be using. So most of the time, the power comes from it when I want it to do things on my behalf. So when you make sure that you're using it, because you're like, hey, why am I not getting the same result? If you don't have some of these options available, one paid version of Copilot is what unlocks this. Same like the paid version of Claude has co-work, or paid version of GPT has, I think they call it agent mode. Same thing, same context. I just like Copilot very specifically because it has all my context to my email. I'm not allowed to connect to all those other systems to my email. So this finished. It completed 6 steps. You can click on this and see how it came up with these steps. But here it is. It found that these people are out sick, and that they called out sick and what is going on for today. So simple things like that. Other things I can do is I can, let's pick off this person that said they were sick. I'm going to start a new chat here, and I can pick off and say, I want to summarize and reply to this email. So it has these pre-built in prompts, and you can save these, you can program them, but I want it to summarize, or I was like, reply with thank you. Whatever it may be, I can have it go and do, and it's going to go and line that up, figure out what I want, use some context that I have, and start responding. I'll give you a use case that I used for it yesterday. I had a boatload of flags. I was cooked mentally and kind of in that analysis paralysis, like what should I work on next? And I just prompted Copilot that says, go through all my flagged emails and present them to me one by one, and give me what you believe the reply should be, what the context of the email or the request is, and give me that summary. And let's work through my email one by one. I want you to be my executive assistant. Give me the highest priority items. Give me the context of what this email is about. Suggest a reply. And it kind of like just walked me through my own email, because it was like 5 o'clock at the end of the day. And I still had some time to be able to go through. So see here, it drafted a response for me. Out of office. Here, thanks for the thing. I can click edit and send. I can just, if I click this button, it's going to freaking send that email. And then down here, my favorite thing is that it gives you a couple different prompts. So, hey, I want to add a closing line, or I want to edit this, or just send it. And so I can click that button and it will send it. And so great use cases for how to use in Outlook.
Absolutely. I think that's really
I'm going to jump
powerful.
over to next favorite application. Yep. Especially when I was mentally cooked, it was great to kind of walk me through everything it was doing.
Yeah, get you over the hurdle, not pushing it off till the next day.
Yep, exactly. So now I'm going to show you a thing I think is way underutilized and is super useful, is utilizing data in Excel and having it edited. So again, all I'm doing is I'm finding the Copilot button, this little symbol here. Sometimes you'll see it up in the top. It's now become like a floating button. And again, when I hover over it, it will suggest different things. I want to improve formatting, add insights, add a formula, because I suck at remembering all the crazy Excel formulas. So I can go and do this. And I can pull it up what it is. So I have some sample data here. I actually used Copilot to create the sample data. But a lot of times, if you're like me, I pull something out of HubSpot, or I pull things from MailChimp, or I have all this information. And I pull it from different resources, and people are manually keying this stuff in, and you naturally need data. And so I'll paste what it is so you don't watch me typing, but all I wrote here is like, I'm reviewing the sheet, I see dirty data, and it just bothers me. There's regions in here that are different capitalizations, drives me nuts. There's certain things that are just missing. See, the sales rep is missing. And like, I just want them fixed. Can you go and do that? So remember, I'm saying, hey, what's the context in which I wanted to do? What's my goal? I don't like the dirty data. What's the context? Like, see these things. I gave it a couple of examples, and I gave it the exact goal, and it knows that it's in the sheet. Now, if I have 50 sheets open, I might say in sheet 1 and give it more context of what I want it to do. But this is the prompt that I'll send to it. And so maybe I believe Claude is better. I'm just going to let the system pick its own item, but maybe I'm a Claude person. I'm going to allow Claude to do what I think Claude should do, or I think it's going to be better at this, or I've had better luck with it. You can pick whatever the heck you like at the top. So see, these things are here. Again, if these aren't available, sometimes you just need to enable them, or you need the paid version of Copilot. But this is going to go through. And now, instead of me ripping through this entire document and trying to figure out what I need to fix or what I need to adjust, I spend my time doing more valuable items. I'm like, well, what do I actually want out of this data? Why am I trying to clean this up in the first place? Like, it's going to clean it up, but like, great. What's the next step after I have nice and clean data? And so I will go through, and you see it figuring out what it's doing and it's fixing right now. But you see it just added the note section. It just started highlighting items. It's still working through. So it just finished. So it just said, hey, I found these items. I've summarized and I cleaned it up. I found region inconsistency. There's your capitalization. Let me bigify this so we can read it a little bit more here. Capitalization. And I didn't even see this typo or category inconsistency or whatever these items are. So it found all
We're
this stuff.
shocked. You missed a typo there, Foster. We're shocked.
And it added what these notes are and what these changes are. So it's highlighted what these things different are. I added notes for each one. The missing quantities, missing sales reps will need input to fill it in. So great, I can say, perfect, this is great, done. And now I can say, help me fill in the missing info. Not a great prompt. And it's probably going to ask me a couple questions or not know what to do with it there. Now, if I was better, say, hey, I'd like you to make the better prompt here would be, I would like you to make assumptions to fill in the missing information using the other ones. So if one customer, like let's say this Delta Co, commonly has the same sales rep, please fill in the missing sales rep. Or if there is a quantity amount missing, please assume what it is based on the other information. So I did not give it a great item, so it wants me to fill these things in. It's forcing me to prompt, and this is the difference between a strong prompt and a weak prompt. So if I want it to really fill it in, so it's right now forcing me to calculate those values. Can you make assumptions based on the other data to help fill them in? Now, I'm slowly walking through it. Again, not a great prompt, but this is how most people interact with it. And, I did not sell assumptions even close to right. So that might not work either. So, but again, I type how I type and I'm doing it. It figured out what the heck I was meaning, and it's analyzing the data to kind of go and fill those assumptions. Now, this is great. So you get a list. I was like, I want it deduped. I would like it. Please go through the entire section and add a column that flags rows where revenue down more than 10%. Or I want a formula that tells me, I don't know, who the best sales rep is, something along those lines. So you see it right now filling in all this information, and I love it because it highlights what it did. It's like, oh, great. So I just took dirty data that drove me nuts because different capitalization and everything. It filled in all this information and you say, great, done. Now I was like, I go back to my executive thinking. It's been processing this at the end, and now can you make a new sheet with insights about the data? I would like to see um, uh, which clients have the most revenue and what sales reps are the best. Again, terrible prompt here, but again, how most people use it. And I want you to see, it will figure out the context. The better thing is exactly what it is. What does it mean a sales rep is the best? It's going to have to make that assumption. Don't let it make assumptions. This is where I see it become very, very powerful for people. Say, maybe really what I'm looking for is I'd like to see if there's a correlation to the sales rep to the customer. And I would add the context to it. Is it just a customer that is buying a lot that is making the sales rep look profitable? Or are there other reps that have less common orders that are outperforming? Like that's something that is analysis of the tool and something I would love to pull from it. So you see how quickly it just did that. It gave me exactly what I asked for. So here's my top customers, order counts, sales rep performance, top performers, and how all this is working through. So it figured all that out. And then maybe I don't know what I want. Can you suggest other interesting data insights I might like? So super useful. Another thing I use this for while we're waiting for it is people do budgets in Excel all the time, or people have very complicated Excel sheets. And I say, look for consistencies in the formulas or potential inconsistencies with the data that are currently in these sheets. So like in budgets, you might have a bunch of different items that are being adjusted and people used a formula and then somebody like edited this one cell and you don't know how it affected 15 other cells. It's great for validating that kind of component. So you see, hey, I have all this information. It gave it to me. It's kind of walking me through this. I can say, okay, give me number 4 and 7. And it's going to add that context to it. So I won't go too much further into this, but you see, I cleaned up some dirty data I have. I'm getting insights from it. I'm using my time instead of this amount of time I probably would have spent just finding dirty data, organizing it, cleaning it up. Instead, I use the exact same amount of time to get the insights and the data, the information I wanted out of that data. So again, makes it just super useful kind of information and very quick to get the executive information you're looking for. Next, the application I'd like to be able to show people is Teams. So for me, this is one of the easiest and most powerful components to it. You don't have to have a full Copilot license to do it. You can do what's called a Teams Premium license. And there's this is my meeting schedule. It's all sorts of fun. But I'm going to hop into a specific meeting that I had yesterday or Monday. And so when you're using Copilot to record your meetings, or you have a Teams Premium license, which is a less expensive version, this meeting was something that we did, and I can click on the meeting and say, view the recap. Oh, it popped up in a different window, so I'm going to share that for you. So a recap, I just click the view recap button, and what this is going to do is provide a meeting that we had internally. And so this is what I see it. You got a lovely photo of me here drinking from a water bottle. But what it does is it's recapped the entire meeting for me. And so one of my favorite things that I use from it is all the summaries and topics and everything that we talked about. But it's giving me analysis, like who was talking during different points. And I can click on this section and it will jump the video directly to that component. It's giving me the AI summary on the right-hand side. So we're saying challenges for SPI assessment, which is something in my leadership training, scheduling with mentor and meeting updates. And here's all the context behind it. And I can click on this button and it jumps right to the time in the recording if I want to go back there. And then it has follow-up tasks. So this is lovely. I can see all the kind of information that's from there. But I can also ask Copilot to summarize the meeting or give me a recap. So let's say I'm doing an interview with somebody. I can open up Copilot and I can say, hey, this interview is for a computer technician, and I would like to rank them on presenting and how well they can talk and so on and so forth. And I can add all that context into it, and I can have it summarized and say, give me a one-page prep or summary of this interviewee. And I'm going to use this over and over again. I just copy and paste that prompt, and now I can compare 5 interviewees on a very similar item. So I can say, hey, highlight the meetings, list the action items from the meeting. I can preset these. So see how this is preset? I just clicked the button, it loaded it in. But people just say, oh, great, it gives me a summary of an email. No, I can actually add context to this email, to this meeting, and I can pull information out of it. It's like, what do they think? How was the person's presentation skills? How was what do you think their top 5 things that they continue to focus on? I can pull whatever I'd like from it. And what's most important, that this is in Copilot, this Copilot information is available into the rest of the system, into chats, which I'll show you why that's so powerful. See up here again, web mode, work mode. I'm in work mode. So I'm going to get specific items out of this. So I can ask, hey, what are all that identified? I just took the pre-canned item, and this is what I'm getting for the summaries and the things that need to be done from it. And I love it because I can have context, action items, what's coming in and out. So that's a recap for the those particular tools in general. So we went over Teams, went over Outlook, went over Excel. That's the most popular one. But you also, everybody is seeing the PowerPoint that we had up. That PowerPoint is 100% generated by Copilot. So in order to be able to do that in Copilot, you need to be able to provide it. What are my brand guidelines? And I was able to send it to the PDF of brand guidelines. I said, here's the overall summary of what we're trying to accomplish today. I would like to suggest a walkthrough of everything. So you can use it. Now, PowerPoint, you need the editing function in order to make it truly beneficial. But it's, again, just another potential use case that everybody can use to continue to be able to move forward with these different tools. I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint here. And then this will be the last section, trying to save as much time as possible for questions, but making Copilot yours. So this is where agents, I'll show you what we used it for, an agent and how to make a bot. A lot of people are like, what is it? How am I using AI? And so I'm going to show you the key things to use it where it will accelerate your usage or make you want to use it more. And I want to make sure that people are able to utilize all the different components to it. So I'm going to show you how we're going to personalize and customize it to get it to act and sound like you and work with you. I'll show you a quick bot that we used for training with the references and how you make some of these bots. And then how we make this a time saver, a time machine for productivity. My number one recommendation to you is start very small, do small tasks. No need to be overwhelming, or don't try to boil the ocean. Start with a very simple prompt and then kind of build upon it. So what I'll share now, we're going to hop back over to Copilot real quick. I'm going to show you some of the other items that we're able to use. So in Copilot, while I'm in here, again, I'm in work mode, so as context. So that meeting that you just saw as a recap, I can query that in a bunch of different ways. I can ask for information from it. So in Copilot, I can say, give me the summary of all the emails today. Give me, and this is how most people are utilizing it. What is one of the more powerful things I want to make sure we do for everybody is first personalizing the system. So up here, you have these three little dots. You can click settings and you can go and customize the Copilot. So in here, you have personalization. In here, you have customer instructions and its work profile. ChatGPT has the same thing. I suggest you go to settings and look for the personalization side of the world. Here are my instructions. So these are my custom instructions that get loaded in every time I communicate to it. So I wanted to, and you see it suggesting things. I wanted to use clear and simple language. This is the things that I have customized it to the own. And I'm going to highlight 2 or 3 things for you. One, I know that always to have it asked to prompt and be a subject matter expert, I am pre-prompting it to say, adopt the role of whatever job title you think is most qualified to provide an authoritative answer to this question. Like insert person here. So when I ask for a team building event, it's gonna be like, I'm a corporate professional team build event planner, and it's gonna load that in. So I will send this out so people don't have to copy paste or screenshot whatever it is. I'm more than happy to send what my personal items are. I was like, hey, if information's beyond your scope, just respond with I don't know. No elaborating, don't tell me all this kind of stuff. Don't repeat yourself. One of the key things I use, break down complex problems or tasks into smaller manageable steps and explain each one's with reasoning. I want to see where it's coming from. I want it to provide direct answers only. No additional context, don't give me that. My favorite though is this. I have this in all of my different AI systems. After a response, give me 3 follow-up questions as if I'm asking you. Put it in bold and say Q1, Q2, or Q3. And I was like, I want them to be thought-provoking, right? And only for written inquiry. So when I'm chatting it, like with the voice in my AirPods walking around, it's not trying to do this. So I had to add that in after the fact. But what this does is when you have a prompt, it's going to give me 3 thought-provoking questions. And then all I can have to respond back to is say Q1 or Q2 or Q3. Very useful. So these customizations really important. So this is one of my favorite ones. I suggest that if people do that. It's a very popular one that I show people how to do. This knows my work profile, so it knows generally who I am. And it also has saved memories. So you can ask Copilot or any AI to save things about you. So I want direct, concise answers. I prefer direct file download links, whatever it is. And these things are called memories. So one of the things to do is personalize it. Say, how would I like it to respond to me? I want it to be more balanced. I would like it to be friendly. I like it to be comical. I'd like it to be whatever your desire. How do you want it to format responses and respond to you? It's great. It makes it far more personal. It makes it far more you. The other component is making sure that you can give it prompts and things to remember. So again, something I will send out is some prompting that you can do in the system itself. So I have a couple preloaded items in here. So I'll click on this previous one that I sent. So you can send it, and I believe in giving it guardrails. So I say, before you take on any of the following actions, stop and show me exactly what you're about to do. Because I don't want AI to go and do something crazy, right? You hear all these horror stories. This is why people are afraid of it. Well, give it the prompt that you don't want it to do. Don't send a message. Don't post a message on Teams. Don't modify calendar events. No touchy, right? For everything else, searching, reading, you can just go without asking. Don't ask me every time you want to go to my email or do that. And show me, this is how I'd like it to do. And it's like, do not use approve all for these things. So I just typed this into it, and guess what it did? It went down here and said, ooh, I updated my memory. I remember that. It's like, got it. I'll lock this in. Here's the summary. I was like, I want it to know this every time. So you can manually add those contexts in, or you can say, hey, please remember this, or remember this about me. And it's like, great, here it is. I'm ready. And then I wanted to trust it. I say, where'd you save that? Ooh, I saved it in my persistent memory. This means every time we'll have it. So you can ask those questions. So you can have it start learning who you are. Another thing that I would like to do, a lot of people are like, ooh, I don't know how to customize it. Or the most common thing is that I want it to sound like me. Great use case. Well, how do you make it sound like you? Do you know how you sound? Or how do you tell a computer how you sound? Well, ask it. My favorite thing. So I have, let me see if I can have where it is. Here's the prompt. So all I wrote in here is, I'm trying to customize Outlook and Copilot to sound more like me. That's my goal. I want less like AI. Context, search all my previous sent emails and tell me the writing style analysis I should use to customize Copilot and tell me how to implement it. I don't know exactly where to go for all those settings across the board. Great use. Well, what it said, my core trait, I'm high compression, I have low filter, I'm directive but non-confrontational. This is welcome to me. And now it says, I rarely over-explain. Here's my formula. It gives me all this context. And it says, okay, add this to Copilot's writing style instructions. Write my emails in my style. Be concise, start with alignment, eye framing, no fluff, no long intros. Like, this is who it is. I use short closings. Ta-da, I now have it. So you can take this context and I can copy and paste it. You'll notice it goes into these sections, so it's easy to copy and paste. And I can copy and paste this, and I can move that right into my custom settings and preferences. So two major things we just did here. This is personalized, how I like it to respond, how my writing style, and two, I just gave it guardrails, the things that freak me out. So when you're using it, I just added a lot of that context to it. Next thing I'm going to show you how I make it mine, and this is where real value starts getting added into things, is scheduled prompts. So the most powerful things that I have into here are the things that I don't need to do or when I want it to be the person for me. So I'll show you a prompt. I have a prompt that's scheduled every morning at 7 a.m. So this prompt says, review all my emails and team chats. Give me a concise summary, top 3 to 5 priorities. Give me the notable wins, requiring my involvement, repeated themes. Give me an alignment check. What might I be overlooking? What are my blind spots, right? This can be my co-pilot into who it is, or the thing that gives me feedback where nobody else is because I'm the owner of the company. So this is a great prompt, and it tells me all this information. Well, I would like to be able to see what it is. So I'll summarize down. So you'll see, here's the information it's giving me. So I asked for this to be anonymized for the webinar, so I can do it. So that's why you see me jump to this part of it. But I just said my previous prompt, can you show this for a webinar so I can use it as an example? But executive summary, here's my top 3 to 5 takeaways. And it has all my email, all my meetings. If I'm using Copilot in every meeting, it knows every meeting I had, what we talked about, everything, all the emails, all the chats I did. Most of that life happens in Microsoft. So top priorities, here's my wins, things I need to delegate, repeat items, fantastic. Now I'm like, ooh, this is fantastic. I want this every day. So what you can do is you can hop over to any prompt that you just did, and you hover over it and look at this little time thing. I want to schedule this prompt. So I can click this button and I can say, great, here's the prompt. I want this to repeat every day from this time to this time. Starts at, I want this thing at, well, I can't have it tomorrow. Let's let this rip at, I'm an early bird, so I'm up at 5. I'd love to see this at 5:30 every day. I don't want it on Saturday and Sunday. Run it into perpetuity or to whatever day, click save, donezo. And it saves that prompt. So using a great use case for me, start with something simple, right? Set up a morning briefing prompt. Simple first. This is my morning briefing says, give me the weather today, because I'm usually getting dressed. I want to know it's about to rain or something like that. And then it's like, give me all the priorities. You saw how I built it out by said, review all my emails, meetings, chats, and give me what you believe my top 3 to 5 priorities are for today. And then next, give me a bulleted list of every meeting that is firm on my calendar today, who it is with, and a basic context that you have from it. Ta-da! I have a morning briefing, very powerful, very useful, and schedulable. Last thing I'll show is an agent, and I'll show this quickly as a built-in one because I want to get to some questions, is that and I won't fully build this out, but a lot of people want to know how do I use an agent. So an agent, I can click over here and say, I want a new agent. If you go to all agents, you can create one. It's relatively straightforward to do it, but use your natural language to create an agent. If you want context here, Microsoft has some fantastic days of a comprehensive morning briefing, a status update, executive briefing. So you can use these things as an example. But the one I like to use is HR. It's like I would like a HR bot, basically, to be able to answer all the questions that I want to be able to make it available for anybody else. So this is, I'll grab my pre-written context so you don't watch me type. I want to set up an HR bot with question. It's only for Charles. He needs to be friendly and relatable, and I only use the resources provided to it. And I say, you go. And it's going to try to build this agent for me. Now, if you're a pro move, you can go configure, you can manually type all this through, but it adds all this cool context and everything from it. To finish setting up this, provide the links to your HR policies. So it's guiding me kind of through this. And I'm like, okay, so I can add my work content. Remember that button before? And I can just type. It's called Handbook, Charles IT Handbook. Yes. There's the Charles IT Handbook sent on February 16th. Fantastic. Here's the please use this document. So I can add that context, I give it that information, and it's going to continue to build and make sure it has everything it needs. So I can point this to a SharePoint directory and make any bot you want. Think you want a client FAQ bot, and you can make it public. Or you can make a training bot internally with all your SOPs on how you operate your business. And what I find powerful about these bots is that people ask dumb questions to a bot, but they won't ask a dumb question to a manager or new peer or somebody else. So it's fantastic for this. So I just built a bot. You just watch us do it. 2 prompts. I gave it this information. This is the general approach. So this is the instructions. So what an agent is doing is that please have all this pre-built context. So when I ask a question, it's doing exactly this. So here's the purpose. I make sure that I agree with all of this. I go through the workflow, example interaction. So I want to make sure this makes a lot of sense. And so I just read through it. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. And then I can add more context. I can drop a file here, or I can give it a SharePoint link. Maybe I have an HR directory of all of our HR policies, or I want all policies about the company. I can do that. I have it shut off. I do not want it using the internet. Don't tell me what other people's policies are. I have only the specified resources, the files and things, no hallucinating. And this one is referencing org chart and profile info. Well, maybe I want it to be able to do that. There's an HR bot in Active Directory on the computer. It knows who my manager is, knows who reports to me. And I want it to know what my job is. And then do I want it to be able to make charts and graphs, create images, visual aids? Sure. And then see, it built in some pre-built prompts for me. Beautiful. And then I have it here and I'm like, let's try this out. I can just click try it, and I can click one of these buttons and I can go and say, what's the company's dress code? And I can click submit and have it run through. Now we won't spend a ton of time going and processing it, but you're going to see it go reference it, and you can see what the actual result is. And you're like, oh, that's not right. I can reconfigure it, play with it. At the end, I can click create. It creates an agent. And on the left-hand side, next to that agent, I can click share, and I can share that to the whole company, to different people. Or you can reach out to your friendly IT company and say, hey, I want to be able to, I want this published to everybody. By default, when you create it, it is private, only available to you. So you can build your own agent to do crazy things. Now I click share, and I can say anyone in the org, everybody, specific people, great, certain people, I can assign those things and continue moving forward. So I know I'm running out of time, so I'm going to probably stop there and make sure that people see if you guys have any questions or things that I can answer from.
There's a handful of questions in the Q&A, Foster.
Great.
Do you want to just click over, read them, or you want me to read them to you?
Why don't you read them off?
All right. So there's a question. Do you have any experience with using Fixer, Fyxer AI?
Yes, I do. So Fixer is a tool that I use and it joins my meetings with me. And I originally did it because not everything I have is in Teams. So Copilot is designed to join Teams. Fixer, if you want, it's one of my hacks, and I suggest that we do another follow-up to this of probably the 200 level course, because this is the 100 level course of AI. Fixer is a tool. You can go and download it, fyxer.ai. It integrates to your mail in about all of 5 minutes. It will automatically start generating replies to every single one of your emails. It can help categorize all your emails, and and then it records all the meetings and sends you a summary as well. So it joins as a part of the screen and says, "Hey, this is recording it," and so I can go and ask questions to it, and it sends a summary to my email. With some of the power of Copilot, I suggest that you use Copilot to get all of that, because Fixer will only have Copilot will only see the summary of the email, not the full transcript, because that's stored at Fixer. But I do actively use Fixer. I'm actively moving off of it because I just use a lot more in Copilot.
Awesome. So from this our same person here, they were curious, is Copilot's summary only available in the online version?
Copilot summary, I'm assuming this question is about Teams, is not
Mhm.
only available in the online version of it. It's available only in a paid version of it. So you have to have the Teams premium license or a Copilot license, paid version. But you just click on the meeting and then there's recap. You have to turn on Copilot in the meeting. So when you're in the meeting, you can record and transcribe, it'll be in there, or you can just click the Copilot and it automatically will start transcription. You have to have that turned on to be able to do it. So just every meeting I go to, I just click Copilot and it starts. If you're trying to look for it now and you didn't click that button, that recap button won't be there.
Got it. Something else interesting, shifting gears a little bit. Question on consent. So, how do you handle consent for both sides when recording? Is it more of a statement before they join, or you ask for permission?
So by default, when something is joining the meeting, when you click Copilot, it prompts all parties that this is being recorded and transcribed. So it covers it. Microsoft sticks to the most kind of like uh, conservative point of view. So it's notifying all sides, everybody who joins it. And if you join via voice, because you couldn't see that little pop-up, it presents that person on the voice, this meeting is being recorded. I'm sure everybody's been on Zoom meetings and Teams meetings where that prompt comes up, but that's how it handles consent for them.
Right. Um, Going back to your agent creation, after creating and sharing an agent, does the staff have to click on the agent to access the data from it, or can they just prompt Copilot from any screen or office environment?
So they should be prompting the agent itself. So can assume on the left-hand side in chat, if you're in Teams, you can say at HR agent or whatever people name them sometimes, or you'll say HR bot, whatever it may be, and you're asking that bot that context.
Got it. And then as an
In
sorry.
and then just click on the agent and then ask the question to that agent. All you're doing is applying all that context ahead of time for you.
Got it. And as an admin, can you see what people are asking the agent, or is that
Admin
individualized?
That's individualized in you will see who's using an agent and you'll see what you have prompted in your history. Only in specific setups, you'd have to specifically set it up to be able to prompt those things. But as an admin, I'd only see what everybody is asking. I can't see what Jane Doe is asking for it.
Got it. And then can you control the permissions on the ability to create that company-wide agents? So only a select people, handful of people can do that, or is that just something that's on for everyone?
You can customize whether you want people to be able to create agents. I suggest you allow anybody to create an agent, and when they have a good one, the administrator can publish it so it's forced and it shows up in the store where somebody can do it. Otherwise, it's just a link. And anytime somebody updates that agent, it breaks the link and they got to resend it out. So it's really about testing, is about sharing it or between a small group of people. Usually the administrator or the IT provider will publish an application and it suddenly is now available to everybody.
Got it. Okay. Well, We're a little bit over a couple of minutes. Certainly, there's a couple more questions in the chat which we can answer and get back to individuals, but I think we covered a lot of it. And as you were saying, it's sort of the tip of the iceberg here, Foster. There's definitely routes that we could go down that can increase this. So I think we may have found a new series for you in terms of AI webinars for the audience. I just want to thank everyone here, both Foster and my contact information are on here, and we will be following up if you have any additional questions, any ideas for how to do a deep dive into the AI. And we're really looking forward to continuing the dialogue. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Ray.